Leonard gave me a lot of things. I would select two of them. The first is that thanks to Leonard, I was able to constitute a free market network in Europe, and mainly in the Summer University in Aix-en-Provence. And thanks to Leonard, we have created together IES-Europe and then IES-Europe. That is the first gift from Leonard. The second gift from Leonard is this deep friendship. He is really for me a great brother, not a big brother, a great brother. I like him because he's kind, he's faithful. Really, I like so much Leonard. It's wonderful.
Anyone who has heard me speak has heard me say that one of the greatest gifts that I have ever had working at Atlas is the chance to know Leonard Liggio. I first met him at the Institute for Humane Studies, and that was in the 1980s. He was always filled with great ideas, patience, and of course a knowledge rivaled by none. And so to this day, I work alongside Leonard Liggio, and not a day goes by that I don't learn something new. He teaches me something about economics, philosophy, history, law. There's never a way that I can stump Leonard. He always knows. And that gift of sharing is something that I will always treasure. Thank you.
Leonard is responsible for me meeting probably one of the most important people in my life intellectually, Henry Babcock Veitch. Leonard made it possible for me to have 2 summers out at the Institute for Humane Studies with Henry and many other people, which helped launch my career. And Leonard did many other things for me, but he's been marvelous, and he's been a tremendous help to me. Thanks, Leonard.
Leonard Liggio is a gentleman and a friend. He is someone who has a fantastic culture, and as he is very generous, he disseminates, he gives to others what he knows and what he learns. And for instance, I learned from him about the great French classical economists and philosophers. I'm very, very grateful to you for everything he brought to me.
Leonard Liggio, who I should point out, has been on the Competitive Enterprise Institute's board now for many years and been a contributor there. Most notably affected my life, and actually that of my wife friends, when Henri Lepage brought him out for the weekend, where they spent the weekend discussing a video monograph on an element of history, the way in which classical liberals before World War I were reacting to issues of peace and war around the world, and Leonard proceeded to go case by case through detailed discussions of which particular people were doing what, and we listened and listened and listened. And of course that's Leonard. Leonard is an encyclopedia of history of some of the great ideas that have influenced and sometimes failed to influence the world we live in. It's a wonderful tradition. I hope we get him down on tape as much as we can, because the knowledge he has is absolutely encyclopedic.
Well, one thing I can say is I realized many years ago that Leonard had already forgotten more than I will ever know in all my life.
Leonard Liggio is one of the most influential people in my career. Among other things, and there's a vast number of other things, he made it possible for me to come to Europe every summer for 20 years and take part in Institute for Human Studies Europe, or eventually what came to be known as Institute for Economic Studies Europe, and become a regular lecturer there. Leonard used to come to these things all the time, and he still shows up at them, which is somewhat of a miracle to me, because I am getting to the point where I am too tired to do them. Maybe he eventually will, but it doesn't look like it. So all I can say is, Leonard, thank you very much. I hope I've made some contributions to the advancement of liberty, but you certainly have.
Leonard, my old friend, so wonderful to be able to be a part of this project. I certainly remember the first day I met you at Fordham Law School when you were giving a lecture, and that was the first introduction of mine to the New York Libertarians. The day I met you is the day I met Murray, and everything began from there. So you've been a great role model for me, and I've learned so much from you, and I intend to continue learning from you as years continue to go by.
Well, Leonard, I must say I'm heavily indebted to Leonard, whom I met for the first time in 1978 at a Montpellier meeting in Hong Kong. And it's thanks to him that I succeeded to build up a rather large network of friends all over the world, and that I've been able to achieve a lot of my writings thanks to all the long conversations which I had through the years with him, but also to all this network of friends that we have been building up.
Well, Leonard is a wonderful friend, and whenever you asked him, everybody will say this, whenever you asked him the slightest question on historical matter, he would always have the answer. So you could always go to Leonard as though you were kind of walking dictionary. But I'd like to add a little bit extra. I think that whenever you asked Leonard, and there was this giant of a man, a very gentle, calm exterior, and then you'd say, well, what do you think of this or that? And he would think a minute, and he thinks a minute, and then he says something quite cynical and very liberal.
I go back many years with Leonard Liggio, over 30 actually, and have admired him and have seen him as an exemplar for my own academic life. Combination of the importance of good scholarship, of learning, of research, combined with the kind of personality that I think is open to ideas and expresses them well, coupled with a very strong commitment to liberty and libertarian type principles. All of these have been a guide to me in my own personal life, and I certainly would want to thank Leonard for all the inspiration he's provided to me.
I first talked to Leonard Liggio in December of 1995, just before Christmas, and his gift was to advise me to read David Green's book on civil society, which is a book that actually changed my vision of society forever.
Leonard Liggio is an important influence on me and my thinking as a classical liberal. I first met him in the late 1960s at the home of Murray Rothbard, and I remember many interesting and important discussions that we had over the years. In more recent times, he has been a president of the Institute for Humane Studies and the Atlas Foundation, Montpellier, and other organizations. And we've interacted over the years, and I assume that the most important thing that Leonard has taught me is the broadness of classical liberalism, that it not only includes economics, but many other fields as well, and is really, in a sense, a whole way of thinking about the world.
So I'm asked to say how Leonard Liggio has changed my life. I'd have to start with my great-grandfather leaving Germany in the 1870s. Okay, that's a joke. When I worked with Leonard at the Institute for Humane Studies, it was terrific. I remember reading his letters about Polish freedom fighters in the 17th century and the incredible knowledge I've just treasured all the time I've been able to spend with Leonard over the years.
Leonard Liggio is someone in this world who's given so unstintingly of his time and his energy. He's one of the great unsung heroes of our causes, and I think that the world has changed because of him.
I think I'm a very good illustration of what Leonard has been doing for so many years and continue doing in terms of helping young people to find their way. I basically chose my career because of Leonard, because he understood what I was looking for, and I was sent, if I may say, to New York, and I really get excited then about economics. Thank you, Leonard, for that, and keep helping a lot. I'm sure you still have a lot of energy. Also, I should say just one bad thing about Leonard is that he made me later on regret to endorse economics, because listening to his lecture in history, I thought that was so exciting that I wish I had chosen history instead of economics. Again, thank you, Leonard.